Hey guys, so I wanted to start making more videos just about like my everyday life. My only question is, should I post the videos on my public Instagram and Facebook, or should I make a private one? Because I have a lot to say, and I just want to say the things that I want to say whenever I want to say them, and I don't want to have to like filter out too much stuff. So I'm not really sure like what the best platform for that is. And I'm also very spontaneous. So I kind of want to do things very randomly. And the whole point about this is that I feel like we all have a very interesting story to share, but also I feel like a lot of times I might not interact with people in the physical world because I keep to myself so much, but I do have like this need to share my gifts and to share, I don't even want to say gifts, like to share who I am with people, because I think it could be helpful to them, for them to be able to find their own sense of freedom. So like last night I was targeted by one of the ET groups. They tried to beam me up on a ship. Generally, it was almost like somebody told them about me, and so this group came by. A well-known person was on this ship. I don't personally follow this person because I knew they were infiltrated for a long time. There's actually two well-known people on the ship, and I don't resonate with either of them because I know that there's infiltration. When I say infiltration, I mean that there's like corruption in their values. And I understand that we're living on Earth. We're living on a fallen planet where it's very easy to compromise your values, but you have a choice about where you do that. And I'm not saying that I'm perfect in not compromising some of the things that I really believe in. In general, I try not to. But if you're in a certain place where you can be 100% authentic to everything, including like working all the jobs that you want to work at because you 100% believe in it and the people and how it's done and all of the work and like where they're sourcing materials and all of that, then like that's totally good. But not everybody's there. Okay, so that's what I mean. So so I don't follow those people, but basically there's this group surrounding me and they kept trying to beam me up on a ship. And I have this stuff happen to me, like either ET groups or sometimes it's like rituals that people try to summon me into that I'm just like, no, I'm not going. Or I like wake up halfway and I just undo what they did or what they tried to make me do. But last night when I was on this ship, I looked out, I could see the stars, I could see there was like this giant window. I was on this ship. They all wanted to, it was almost like they weren't expecting me to show up, but here I am. And so they came to get me in my body to beam me up on the ship to do things for them, or to like just see me, because it's like, here I am. And I was like, I'm not doing anything for you. I don't work for you. Because I don't, like, in my mind, I'm working for God's source. I know that there's certain beings that want me to do certain things, and I don't necessarily agree. And then they try to question, like I can feel them beaming stuff at me, like, are you sure? Why do you care so much? Why are you fighting it? Or like, why do you even care? So they try to like beam stuff at you so that you stop being so passionate, so that you don't care about these things, so that you don't feel like you can really take a stand, or so that you don't feel like you want to take a stand on things. And so even like right now, they're like, well, why do you care so much? Like, why would you, like, I'm translating obviously, but that's kind of what they're starting to beam at me, like this sort of like confusion of, why do you care? Why do you want to protect these things so much? Why don't you want to work for this side? And I guess overall, I've always seen myself as wanting to work for the good side, for God's source. And I've seen a lot of dark things, and I'm not saying that in all of my incarnations when I have 100% stuck to working for one team or to working for God's source, in all of my incarnations that I have ever had, because that is a lot. And so that's probably why they think that I should work for them in certain cases, or why they want me to do certain things. But I continuously reaffirm that what I want is freedom for myself and for others. And I think that's where they've come to the end of the line, is that they promise certain aspects of people freedom for a certain lifetime or for a certain amount of time. And then what they actually do is take away that freedom in other lifetimes, or try to clone people, because I've seen this happen to other beings where like they offer them a lot of stuff and they just clone them, and then they send, a lot of them are not doing well, because I've met the clones that are not doing well of the person who is doing well. So it's like even within one lifetime I've seen these people. And so they really, like, the negative agenda is really not freedom. And for me, like, when I connect to my true source and my remembrance of who I am and why I came here, why we came here, and it's not just me, it's like me and my soul team and all of the beings who decided to come here and show up and try to help free the other souls that were stuck in the system. We just care about freedom, and we can just see how it's a lot less easy to bribe people like us, because we understand that what is being offered is not actually freedom. It is temporary freedom in exchange for some kind of enslavement. And so in that regard, this world is made to make people question or pick between two evils of varying degrees, right? So sometimes it seems that you can't escape having to pick between evils, and then you pick the lesser evil generally. But I do feel like there's a way out, and that way out is some kind of like win-win situation for everyone, because that's what I'm always trying to expand beyond the yes, no, black, white. Like, what is God's perspective on all of this, and how do we make God's perspective actually manifest in a bi-veka yes, no kind of system like the one that we're in right now? And so that's why I continuously, like, when I remember who I am, I'm just like, no, I'm not working for you in the way that you want me to. I will be here as someone who is free, who stands for freedom, who will help others to find freedom where I can, who is obviously still living on earth, still needs to make a living, still needs to have basic human things. But for the most part, like, it's like, if I have to trade between different things, I'm going to find a solution so that people don't have to do that, right? So that I don't have to do that, so that other people don't have to do that. And so last night they wouldn't leave, and I was just like, usually when this happens to me and the ships come, I can feel them try to like surround me, try to beam up my whole body. Sometimes they do beam up my body. I just will myself back out or down, and I'm like, no. Or I just like tell them like, get out, like leave, and then I will try to shield, do my energetic stuff. I will also play specific mantras that I think create energetic barriers of protection, and I'll do meditations. But the thing is that a lot of times when you wake up in the middle of the night, you're very tired. And so I have pre-recorded certain things that I play for myself when these, let's say, attacks happen. And so it was happening last night, and they really didn't want to leave. Like, I had to try like 5 times to send them away, and then they would just wait patiently until I was more sleepy or like on the edge of sleep to try to like snatch up my light body and beam me up. And each time I kept getting away, and they get really mad when you don't want to do what they want you to do. So they kind of made me wake up on like kind of a weird timeline. I feel like we're moving through this quantum system, and you are the director of where you're going in the quantum system based on the things that you're thinking about and based on your beliefs. So we get that, but we also have to acknowledge, like, this is where I was. Did I leave any energy back there? If you didn't leave any energy, sure, like, ignore it, dissolve it, move on. If you do have energy that's stuck back there, that's probably trauma, or it's probably something that you need to dissolve fully before you can fully take your energy back, collapse that timeline, come back into this one, and move along. So they kind of made me wake up on a weird timeline where I felt like they were angry, and they're like, oh, it's almost like they try to push back and force you to do the things that you said that you wouldn't do because you didn't want to do them. So they have all kinds of little tricks up their sleeves, if they had any sleeves. So anyways, so that's what's going on, and I just wanted to share that in case that's happening with anyone else. I have a lot of stories like this because similar things happen to me a lot, like almost every single night. There's something that I have to fend off or kick out of my field, that kind of thing. I wanted to share, and I feel like they're just kind of laughing because they're just like, they're funny. And their evilness is kind of funny sometimes, in what it thinks it can get away with, what it tries, and then it's like, little does she know I'm going to try this and this angle. And I'm just like, well, God's source always wins, so we'll see about that, right? So anyways, yeah, and I wanted to make more videos like this where I'm sharing with you stuff that's going on, or like random things that pop into my head that I think are relevant about like the movement, about freedom, about... I tend not to go into politics because I feel like that's a very, like, just that instantly separates people. So I just don't even go there. But as far as like other things, I really just want to talk. I feel like it doesn't, like, the way that this world is run, it doesn't make any sense to me. So I'm going to do what I came here to do in the ways that I can. And I also want to do it in joyful and happy ways. Like, I don't want to do anything that sucks away my happiness. I don't want to do anything that requires me to be something that I don't want to be. Like, obviously I'm wearing makeup, I dyed my hair, like, I mean, I wanted to do that stuff. If I didn't, no one's forcing me to do this. And that's what I mean. Like, I only want to do the things that I want to do. I don't want to do anything that I can't be forced into doing things that I don't want to do. And so that's kind of the way that I'm trying to live my life more now as I reclaim my freedom. And I understand that we're still living in a world where a lot of people need to have these sort of like weird jobs and they can't fully claim their freedom. But I and a lot of other people are trying to create the systems that allow us to have freedom to expressively be who we are at heart, at soul, because that's what we really came here to do, to be an expression of our higher self throughout all of the density levels, even down to here. And that is like the primary purpose. The system is corrupted. So we're going back to like the very, very original purpose of existing and creating all these systems. When we came in here, that's kind of almost like an overlay of missions. Like, oh, that system got really corrupted. Do you really want to go back in there and try to play this role of saving people? Or it's not even like me saving people at this point, because I realized that I can't save people as much as I want to. And usually they will resist you if you try to do that. The best that you can do is inspire them or make them feel something. So I would say, if you are questioning your existence right now, if you're going through a lot, reconnect back to your passion so that you know what is okay and what isn't in your life. You feel strongly about something, but most people are numbing out in one way or another. So when you remove that mechanism of numbing yourself out, you can reconnect with the passion of who you are, which is your inner fire, which holds your inner flame of like, this is what I care about. Because either you feel really angry about something, or you feel like something needs to be done. Like, that is what drives you, right? And I'm not saying that we all have to sit out here and be impulsive. I'm not saying be impulsive. I'm just saying remove the numbing mechanism and reconnect to the truth of who you are, because it's burning inside of you. And once you can do that, then you can be strategic about the things that you are willing to do to set yourself free, whatever you need to set yourself free from, in whatever way that needs to be. So by setting yourself free, I mean when you have no limits on your self-expression. And when I say no limits, it's like, it really reminds me of this, I think it's like a Bible saying where it says, you will know them by their fruits, by the fruits that they birth, by the fruits that they create. So you will know them by their fruits. So let's look at finite systems. They are not eternal systems. They create dead end loops. So when I say freedom, I'm talking about God freedom. So freedom, total freedom of expression within the laws of God's source, within the laws that respect what God's source has created, not according to a Bible, but according to actual God's source, because you have a relationship with God's source, because you remember who you are and where you came from, and you remember all that stuff. So even if you just hold the intention of like total freedom and being exactly who you are within the laws of God's source, that is the specific structure. And then we get into mathematics and the actual molecular components of things that can then fire together to make eternal life possible. And so that fruit of eternal life is what tells you that that is the highest path. You will know them by their fruits basically means, like, if you try to do whatever you want within a devilish system, it will lead to finite life. It will lead to systems that become black holes. It will lead to torture. It will lead to chaos. It leads to all of these bad things. And therefore, you know that those are not the highest ways of doing things. That's not the best system, because the fruit is finite life. It is death. It is decay. You don't have that when you function with God's source and the eternal life laws within your system, and when you apply that to your own freedom. if we are sucked into the system and tied into the system that is finite, that is decaying, that is in such disarray, it is a man-made system. It is a finite life system. It is a system that was based off of people being selfish and not understanding how to balance all of the universal laws that keep eternal life functioning. And so that's what I mean by, when you want to set yourself free, you want to find out, where am I not in alignment with eternal life flows that are actually true to me as the soul that God source created? And what is preventing my genuine, authentic self-expression? Again, respecting the laws of oneness and unity with God's source. So that's the kind of freedom that I'm talking about. And that's where you need to set yourself free. But first, you need to connect back in with your passion and realize why you've been numbing. Why isn't even really necessary. It's just like, this is what you've been doing and this is what needs to change. And how do you do that? If you need support, reach out to me or to others. There's lots of other coaches out there that can help you. But the most important thing is, like, how are you going to set yourself free? Because numbing out only works for so long. I think we all know that. And again, it's not a solution. You need a long-term solution. You need a long-term plan. You need to figure out how to set yourself free for good from all of the oppressive systems. And so that's kind of what a lot of the beings don't want me to talk about, or they don't want me to say, because they want you to believe that you have to put yourself in a tiny little box and that's the only place that you can exist, or you only have access to these certain kinds of jobs and this is the only way that you can make a living, and this is the only thing that we want you to do because we pre-coded you to do certain things for us, and we want you to go out and like collect certain things from, like, no. Do things because you authentically feel connected to that fire within you, to that passion that is the driving force of your work and what you're here to do. So connect to that and then come back to me and let me know what that is, because I'm curious and I want to know if this message got to you. So send a heart or some